don't know the chamber a lot, what they did for advertising. I don't wanna say they didn't, I don't know what they did. We can only advertise it so much, and so I don't know if they did not. Tony, I talked to Tony about it, she goes, next year I'm gonna have to like get on more with it.
Were they the ones that pulled it, or did you guys?
They did, cause that's like a subsidiary, kind of, like, it happens with STEAM
Associated,
but it's not
official.
They give us a little donation for doing it during,
Sure.
but it's not something that besides Tony, I should say that Tony's on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
with me.
yeah.
She's the liaison with that one. But other than that, we don't have much to do with it. We don't take the registration. We don't do that. She works with whatever group she's with to get it done.
Associated, but not.
Kind of. They kind of are though, because Tony who co-manages it is on the STEAM Committee. So
It's complicated.
yeah. Yeah, so the riders can't come, and he didn't really give an explanation, and so it was nothing we did, there's just something on their end that happened. And he said, we hope you're back next year. I was like, oh,
They're gonna be so sad.
those cars are great.
Those
They
are super fun. But listen, children to wrangle.
What was that? Oh, yeah.
Children to
Don't get
wrangle
rid of
around the
her.
sideline.
My mom tells stories. She said that was always the most stressful part of parades for her. She's like, I swore someone was gonna get run over.
How they miss everybody. I never have heard of like a death by zoo route before.
Jesus.
So, you know what I mean? Like, so,
Really dark.
well, but, I mean, with all the parades.
Do you want me to Google
there-
that one and see if that one is?
I hate to see what your algorithms are gonna turn out to be after you do that, so no, don't do it.
On the city laptop.
Yeah, right?
It's already listening, the algorithm's set.
Men in Black show up at your door tonight.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, the name change is weird.
You really jumped up in the alphabet, though.
Yeah. I've been married 8 years, and I wrote my maiden name down on a hospital document 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
If it makes you feel any better.
It kind of does. Yeah, after 50 years. Yeah, I guess it is. After 50 years, changing it's kind of 50 years.
Who said that?
Me. I'm 50.
I know.
You're 50?
Yes! I will take that reaction all day long. What? Even if you're lying, I'll take it.
That's what I meant to.
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
May.
All right. It's 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting in order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this might be a quick one tonight. Let's see. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Pershman
I'll second.
and a second by Councilmember Conrad. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, we do not have anyone here joining us from the community. Therefore, I don't think there will be any community comment, no presentations and reports, no public hearings. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Conrad,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Pershman. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, let's see. We don't have any business items tonight, but we do have a couple of carryovers from our work session. Up first is the city manager's report. Mr. Merrick.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm just gonna pull this up a tish, so this map probably looks familiar to you. So if you remember, earlier this summer, the city council provided some feedback in a number of different instances to Great River Energy related to a high-powered transmission line proposed by Minnesota Valley Electric Cooperative. There was some open houses at administrative hearing at, that name's escaping me, the Outpost on 212. And the city was emailed late last week that the administrative law judge had some findings and frankly recommending that the route be denied based on the amount of or lack of notice that the city was provided. Ultimately, this goes to the Public Utilities Commission for a final determination. The reason I brought this map up is the mayor and I were invited to, I would call, testify before the commission later this week. And I think it would provide some clarity, and if the council's not prepared to do this, we can share that, but I think it would provide some clarity if the council was willing to say what route they did prefer, and I know we've talked about this in different circumstances. I would offer Aaron Smith and I talked about about this topic this afternoon, and Route B, which is on the far left, it follows, so I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, here's my cursor here. You know, it starts here, follows down to the south, and then goes west on Augusta down to Kelly. And the interesting piece that's probably not really that noticeable on a map like this is County Road 43 right here. So this is the western boundary of our orderly annexation agreement with Dahlgren Township. And I would offer as a editorial opinion that this route has the same net effect of avoiding the city's growth area. And from our perspective, Great River Energy intentionally avoided the Victoria growth area as indicated in their documents. They're attempting to avoid County Road 10 or Engler Boulevard related to the future corridor alignment for that road. And so this alternative or Route B would also do the same. I think again, editorial, the interesting piece to this is this route is, at least based on their documents, is $10 million more than the other routes that are indicated. So I'm suspecting that Great River Energy and MVEC is aware of the cost differential between the routes. The other three routes are in the high teens, but there are some additional infrastructure, at least according to the documents, that's needed for a route like that to be serviced. Again, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on what that is or how significant that is.
So the Augusta Kelly is more expensive by 10 million?
Correct.
Okay, and I'm sorry to make you repeat yourself. You went before the judge, I didn't catch quite what you were saying, who this judge was.
There was an administrative hearing held at the outpost in, I want to say, June, July-ish, maybe, or was it maybe even earlier?
May, I think.
Okay.
Councilmember Pasco and I were out, Mayor Johnson, Councilmember Sayer was out.
Councilmember Sayer and I spoke at the in-person. And
Yes.
I believe Mayor Johnson and Councilmember Pershman spoke
Right.
at the virtual.
Yep, and I was out of
And
town,
we-
so I'm sorry if you could.
Yep, and we really focused on our late notification, and that Great River Energy's documents spoke to wanting to avoid growth areas in the city of Victoria. And in my
The
opinion,
administrative judge, he deemed what?
she
Sorry.
in the documents just noted the significance of the late notice period.
Okay.
Great River Energy is contesting that based on the documents that they should still be allowed or permitted to use that route. It sounds like it's kind of I would say, more inclusive process where Mayor Johnson and I might be invited to provide feedback related to what route we think would work. And so, again, if the council's not prepared, I know this is not how we would typically do things for a ramp up, but we could also share that, the council hasn't, like as we did in May when the administrative law judge asked that, we just shared that the council hasn't formally, but I recollect Councilmember Pasco sharing her own point of view, kind of apart from the council, but.
Yeah, I believe that both Councilmember Sayer and I basically said, because of the short notice, we've not had an opportunity to come up with an official recommendation of the council, but our personal recommendation is whatever. And mine was Route A, which follows 10, or C, which follows the existing transmission line. I can't remember what Councilmember Sayers was. I think she said A or B maybe. But that was the stance that we gave, because the administrative law judge did specifically call us out and ask us what our recommendation was. We gave it on a personal basis, not on a council basis.
And for transparency purposes, I believe Victoria is opposed to C. There's a quick trip and development or kind of near that location, and their development area is adjacent to it. But that's the argument that we made to the administrative law judge is the same logic that went into trying to avoid Victoria applies to Carver. So that's where we stand today. So happy to take any commentary that you have or want to have shared.
I would love to hear from you guys. I'm inclined to follow staff's lead and think that B, for the reasons that Brent outlined, seems like a pretty good option. I'm embarrassed to admit I don't remember seeing that earlier this spring when we were talking about it.
I don't either.
And I'm
Alternative B, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm struggling with how it looks like it needs to be a very east-west line, where that one is a little more, significantly more north to south.
I believe there's and again, this is where you kind of can get into some trouble, but I believe the east-west line that is accomplished here along County Road 140 or Big Woods Boulevard.
Okay.
Do you think maybe they tie into that high transmission line there? Because they look like they're
Yeah.
all going to a higher transmission line that would then get to the substation.
Yeah, it's just trying to get to that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go offline here and bring up a document that might help round out this discussion, so keep talking amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I also don't recall seeing that B, and
Yeah.
because it goes around everything right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we would have.
I think
Jumped
I
on
would have
that.
said, wait, that
Yeah.
that affects, I mean, some farmers' land, but it doesn't affect.
But it follows the
town.
roads.
Yes.
That's the thing, is
Right,
it
it's
follows
right
the
on the road.
roads. It's not, the line that we've been opposed to cuts through their land, which is why they're opposed to it.
I was really surprised if you read that letter from the judge, and the summary finding was essentially in our favor. Now, so the judge recommends denying their request. Does the PUC, what is their obligation to follow the judge's recommendation? And does that put the power company into a position to reconsider?
They're not, from what I understand, and again, I'm not the subject matter expert, but they're not obligated.
Okay.
It's just part of the
Just
findings related to how they would make their decision. So this is the map, and I would say I was in the same boat with the council. I didn't recognize that this terminus here of Route B was actually here. And so I don't think it was necessarily intuitive that was an option. And then there's a findings area. I'm just gonna Control F, staff. That's not gonna work. There is a staff. Nothing like going through. Now I know how Brenda feels when I look over her shoulder when she's doing. I thought this table, and I forwarded this to the council, so if you need to look at this, I thought this table was helpful, where it talks about these routes and their different impacts to different areas. I thought this last line was significant in that, future land use identified that Route B is the only one that's not. And then we'll get to that staff findings here.
I mean, already looking at this, for me, Route B is the
Yeah.
route that I would say that is our preferred. It is, like I said, that table right there shows that it doesn't affect residential, commercial. Follows already existing roadways. I don't, unless the rest of the council has other views, I don't know why that wouldn't be the one that we would suggest.
I don't either, especially knowing that the other one that follows roadways is the one that goes along 10, and we have no idea where 10's gonna be in 10 years.
No, I agree. I think the only reason we didn't see that is it wasn't probably not positioned as a
Yeah.
problem. That's probably just because there's more transmission line than the other routes.
Yeah.
Which the reason for the 10
The
million.
shorter line even.
The
Uh,
overall, if you
3.1.
include where they plug into the high transmission line, because where it technically terminates is not where the substation is.
yeah.
And so if you include the entire length of the route, including the existing high voltage lines that they would plug into, the overall length is a lot longer, and so there's more possibility for
Okay, it just, when I was
things
looking at that
happening.
table you just brought up, it's showed the shortest.
That would be the new line. They're talking
Longer
specifically.
line, more expensive, therefore not positioned.
So this is, I would say, like the meat and potatoes of this document is the issues at hand. This is the staff analysis. Where the administrative law judge at second sentence, the first issue is whether the commission agrees with the ALJ's conclusion that noticing requirements were not met. So that was the administrative law judge's conclusion that they weren't met. And then they kind of opine into whether or not that kind of ruins the whole process. But the administrative law judge, second paragraph, administrative law judge report discusses the rationale for recommending RAB for a permit in the summary of factors analysis beginning on page 57 of the report. The ALJ states that RAB is a viable route with some trade-offs, so on and so forth. I think the big piece, though she notes there are lingering questions about the location of a 20-acre greenfield for a breaker station, as well as questions about the reliability. So I suspect that Great River Energy, related to the costs of that breaker station and that's going to be their issues. And I don't know if we're in a position I don't think we're in a position to contest what like the infrastructure of an electrical system is. But the road is certainly advantageous, and it seems to be in keeping with their other analysis where they want to stay away from 10 because of road construction and Victoria because of growth and development. It just, I don't know, seems to be coincidental that we weren't noticed as a community, and then that's the route they chose. And then, in the report, they also mentioned, frankly, that, Great River Energy would be willing to work with the city on, making adjustments to the route. To be like overly blunt, there has been no indication from their team that they'd be willing to change. Every suggestion that I've personally given to them has been met with resistance on reasons they haven't changed this plan in any meaningful way since we've been involved.
And I don't think they're going to. I mean, I really don't think they're going to. They were willing to go through, try to push this through without even letting us know. Why would they be amenable to changes from us now? So I am set on the route B that we discussed, and I have no more questions or comments about whether that's the route for me to choose.
So I wonder if we don't need a second choice, not to overly complicate this, but I am really second guessing and wondering where route alternative B was in May. Because this feels like an aha, and like, yeah, of course that's where we want it.
Right.
So I don't know if that was like off the table or what the deal was, but do we want to get behind a second place alternative, which I think for me would be the County Road 10 version, although knowing that has hiccups, and I think that there are hiccups in everything, but
I do not. I think it doesn't show a strong enough stand that this is where we're at. I think they're going to look at it and say, well, we didn't want Route B to start with, so we're just going to take whatever that secondary one is. And I don't think that is I think we just have to come hard and say this is what we want.
Yeah, I'm just anticipating the easily anticipated questions in this. I'm not saying that'd be like, we'll do Route B, but I mean, if that's not okay with you, we can do Route A, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm just like having something in our back pocket.
I think we
If
keep it in our back
pressed.
pocket and stuff, yeah.
So that if pressed, we
Yeah.
can say, well, we did talk about this. And in fact, our second choice is C or whatever that is. Or I'll make it up, you guys.
I'm not for adding a second choice in at this point.
Okay.
Because it will come back again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
I would just like to say, with my limited knowledge of how the bureaucracy like this works, I think it's a really, really promising sign that the board has requested Carver to specifically to come in and personally opine on this issue, even if he or she or they don't choose to go with the administrative judge's opinion of completely denying the permit. They're very seriously considering our position on the route selection. And I think that that's really important. So I think that's a really
there's
positive
enough in
sign.
this, I mean, we have in here, the judge has already sided with
Right.
us. And then we also have in here, so the judge has sided with us. What was my second point now? Sorry. The judge sided with
Judge
us.
recommend Route B?
What was
She
that?
does also recommend Route
Right, the
B.
Yeah.
judge recommends
Right.
Route B, so I agree.
Oh, I'm sorry, the table. I was gonna say the table that's in there also shows that it doesn't have the impact that the other three have. So
Right.
I
Doesn't
think-
have impact on agriculture or commercial like
right,
all of
so
the
I
rest
think
of
going
them do.
forward with just one and saying this is the one that makes sense is
Okay.
the
I
right.
agree.
Okay. I'll text you on when they ask what our second choice is.
We'll just hand him the administrative law judge comments.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. All right. Communications and council requests. Eric, you want to go first?
I don't have any.
All right.
Christy.
There's a little thing happening this weekend called Steamboat Days.
Shoot, tell
Yeah.
us more.
Oh, okay. So, well, it's all on the website, right? So you can go to
And that is?
carversteamboatdays.com. I do want to just mention, again, for all the people who are watching, we do offer different bus services over the weekend for parking because we know that it gets to be a hassle, especially on Saturdays, and then also on Sunday for the parade. So Southwest is running buses, 2 routes. They're posted on the website, one that goes up towards the Bluff section of town and one that covers kind of our midtown and up towards 11 and back around by Mount Hope. So that's nice. Then Sunday, we utilize the bus station, and they run a bus up and down from the bus station downtown and drop off by Depot Park. City staff has been fantastic. You are going to have your first Steamboat Days. Yay, you get to see all the fun. We've been working with the folks down here who are doing the bridge construction, obviously, because we have to get the fireworks folks down in there too. So they are moving things around to make sure, and our folks are mowing down there to get that done and ready. There's just a lot of wonderful things happening this weekend. So stop down. I haven't even looked yet. Do we have an HPC meeting on that Tuesday? We do. Okay.
Is there a new event or thing that we cannot miss at Steamboat Days this year? Food or?
We have a couple new food trucks. So we have there's a new Mexican food vendor, and then we have a new vendor coming from Sticks. So Johnny B, who does food out there, so he'll be having a new one. So 2 new food vendors, along with their other ones. The motorcycle show was new last year, but that was a big hit, so that's happening again. We've continued that one. All of the bands are first-time players this year, so we have all new bands for Friday and then 2 on Saturday night on the main stage. So on the main stage there. A couple returning ones underneath the beer tent.
Awesome.
There's so many things. Maybe there's probably more. I don't know.
Okay, you'll think.
Yeah.
Kayla.
Brent anticipated me. My council request was I wanted an update on the meeting with the power commissioner, but you already handled that. So
He's good like that.
he is. He's very good at predicting what we need. So I have nothing.
All right. Just updates from me. On August 19th, Carver Fire had their badge pinning and black count ceremony. Eric Beloy moved on from a probationary firefighter. to a full-fledged firefighter. I did not know that the probies needed permission to get on the fire truck when they were in probationary status. Like literally, a firefighter has to say, yeah, it's okay for you to come on this time. And I asked him if he had ever been turned away, and he was like, yeah, there were a couple of calls where it was like, no, this is a bigger deal. I need that person instead of you. So let's see, August 20th, I stopped by the Lions meeting to thank them. That was our first meeting after we had the celebration here where Patty came from Bountiful Baskets. So I had the traveling trophy, which you should take a look at before you leave. It is like a 12-pound can of pineapple tidbits. And it has Carver's name etched in there. But I got to show, not only show them the trophy, but thank them because it really was the Lions that pushed us over the top, as you all know. The next day, because I already had the traveling trophy, I brought it to the Carver County Mayor's meeting, where the mayors of Chaska and Victoria were there, and I was able to kind of like say, look at this, isn't this lovely? I just carry it around with me everywhere I go. So, as you know, those meetings tend to be, and this is how I very casually refer to it, but half ideation and did you hear this, or we're dealing with this, what would you do? Have you struggled with this before? We're doing this well. And then half kind of support group, if you will. We had a League of Minnesota Cities board meeting on the 21st. We are going through budget and dues increases, which will not be more than 5% for members in 2026. On the 22nd, we had a special community leaders meeting. That's the one that we have with the school district, where they kind of went through and did a high-level overview of the referendum that's going to be on the ballot this November. And I think that they're coming to our next work session, potentially.
Yes.
Okay. To give us an overview, the school board meets on the same night and times that we meet. Otherwise, they would come to a regular meeting. So, but they will be here giving us a presentation at our next work session. And then August 26th was a back-to-school bash, which is just a really fun event that's part of our recreational agreement with Chaska. There was a bounce house, a fire truck. The City of Chaska brought their community service deputy, whose name is Martine. Martine, fun fact, is Chewy, Carver Bait and Tackle's brother. So they could be twins, but he very quickly shut me down when I asked the question. But he was there with their community trailer, which has a really cool like LCD screen on it. So really fun event. There were some food trucks. It was also the week where the community market gets booted from Carver Station because it's state fair. So really a fun event, good turnout, and kind of the last hurrah before school starts. So that is it for me. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Councilmember Pasco.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Conrad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Good evening.